of this panel discussion is FinTech Connect, Indian Pathway to Finovate, Action at 75 Digital India. We have 4 panelists, Mr. Ritesh Chipde, Mr. Chintan Oza, Mr. Palani Shivam Prakashan, Mr. Krishna Kumar Kancharla, Mr. Palani and Mr. Krishna Kumar would be connecting with us online, whereas Mr. Ritesh Chipde and Mr. Chintan Oza is present with you. Our moderator is Dr. Sadaf Hashmi. Sadaf Hashmi has an expertise into conducting various interactive investor-driven workshops. She is a corporate trainer and conducts various training programs at NSE. Ma'am has a blog for financial awareness among students community, Dr. Sadaf's Financial Lab. Ma'am is right now teaching at Narsimonji Institute of Management Studies. She has ample years of teaching experience and has written a lot of research papers in banking and finance. I would now request Principal Ma'am to come on stage and felicitate our guest. Mr. Ritesh Chipde. Mr. Chintan Oza. And our moderator, Dr. Sadaf Hashmi. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. Sadaf Hashmi to introduce the panelists and start with the panel discussion. Thank you.
Very, very good afternoon to all seated here. At the outset, I would like to thank Vidya Lankar Institute for organizing such an enriching conference. And as we move into our panel discussion, I would like to introduce our panelists one by one. Our first panelist is from Singapore, Mr. Palani Selva Prakasam. Mr. Palani Selva has about 20 years of diverse expertise working in Singapore with some of the esteemed organizations like JP Morgan Chase, Marina Bay Sands, and DBS. He is a certified PMP professional with expertise into operation as well as financial backgrounds. Also, Mr. Palani Selva has developed various solutions, innovative solutions involving architecture and engineering, and has handled several operational teams to ensure that financial services moves into an evolving technology. Also, Mr. Palani will be joining us virtually. He will be our first speaker. And now moving on to our second panelist, Mr. Krishna Kumar Kancharla. Mr. Krishna Kumar Kancharla has been sharing his views about the topic of crypto. Hello, yeah. Mr. Krishna Kumar Kancharla is going to be speaking about topic of cryptocurrency and e-rupee, because this topic is of utmost importance, and I'm sure that everyone would like to know that where cryptocurrency would be going from now. So thereby looking into his expertise, having a decade-long experience with Hexaware Technologies, Mr. Krishna Kumar is an expert in functional testing with total experience of about 12 years, inclusive of international exposure in diverse countries across the globe. He is a test architect with software testing, life cycle experience, designing and executing web applications, client server apps, as well as database packages. Next, we have amongst us Mr. Ritesh Chipre. He has been very instrumental in taking several financial products, an expert in project management, and also ramping up existing product volumes at esteemed organizations like City Financial, Moneylight Credit, IIFL, Shriram City, across geographical locations in India, ranging from Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. His key areas are setting up distribution networks, channel management, motivating teams to achieve high organizational goals, adaptability, and flexibility. He currently has 2 ventures, which I would request Sir to speak in detail. Both of them are regulated ventures, one an NBFC and the other in the insurance sector. We welcome you, sir. Next panelist, we have Mr. Chintan Oza. He is the founder at Anantam Ecosystems with diverse experience of 22 years of intrapreneurship, experience in the telecom and ICT sectors. He has been working with companies like Reliance and with Tata and scaling telecom projects to national as well as international peaks. He has worked with 77 plus cohorts across 6 continents, mentored 232 entrepreneurs to launch and scale their business. And not only that, he is an alumni from prestigious institutions like IIT Mumbai, UC Berkeley, Oxford, and Georgia Tech. We welcome you, sir. So first, we will have Mr. Palani Selva, who will be connecting from Singapore. So he will be first speaking about his expertise. So our initial round in the panel discussion will be where all our panelists will be sharing their expert views. Then we will be moving on to the innovations, and then we will have the forum open for the Q&A. All right.
Hello. Can you all hear me? Hello. Shall I start? Can you all hear me now? Hello. I'm just wondering, can you all hear me? Am I audible? Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. I just want to check before I speak. Hello.
If you can.
Yeah, okay. I think you guys can hear me now. Okay, well, thanks for having me here. And yeah, as you introduced, my name is Palani. I'm currently with JP Morgan. I'm from a service delivery team who's predominantly taking care of the JP Morgan's infrastructure space. And overall, I've been with the banking industry for about 13 years, and the rest of my experience in other industries comes around 20 plus years. I've been with in the infrastructure space, doing various capacities, starting from operationals, projects, and delivery side. So I'm here to talk or share some of my experience in various projects. And specifically, I'm planning to talk about how the infrastructure has evolved in the last 10 years, supporting all this transformation that's happening, all the cloud migrations or the cloud adoption that's happening on the banking side. So to start with, right, so I would begin with my digital transformation journey and my contributions to the organizations. I mean, we all know digital transformations is a buzzword now. So everybody are talking about it, and every industry is going through this transformation, and banking is no exceptions. So what we want to understand is like the transformation itself is not a technology transformation. It's basically a business transformation that is collectively driving the digital transformations as well. So let me just give a brief about one of the projects. We were working on a consumer banking group. It was a global bank where I was part of it, and that branch had about, I mean, that bank had about like multiple branches across the region, and we had an objective of reducing the branches and then basically moving everybody into the digital banking area. So this seems to be a very straightforward, like creating an app and then moving it forward, but really that's not the case, right? There are a lot of efforts that's been taken care because the systems are legacy. And what we are actually trying to achieve is on those days where we go back and do the transactions in the bank, where we simply submit a form and then somebody from the bank who actually does all the transactions. And now we are in a state where we do everything. So basically we are doing the banking. So the bankers are turned into the consumers, like we are doing everything on behalf of the bank. So to get here, it was not a simple journey. Like there are a lot of transformation happened from the infrastructure side, applications and data. So specifically talking about the infrastructure side, if you take a step back about 10 years before, I'm talking about the Asia Pacific region, all these banks had the presence in multiple countries, and everywhere we had their own data centers, own infrastructures, like their own users, customers, and everybody were running in silos. And when this transformation started evolving, so no longer the legacy systems or the applications is applicable or relevant anymore. So every industry went into this transformation. And I would like to break it down from an infrastructure perspective, because this is one of the high cost expenditure that happens in every organization. So even though when we look at from an application perspective, it's developing the applications, writing codes, and then bringing it to reality for the users to use it. But at the back end, there are high-speed data centers, networks, computes, database, storage, security. There are a lot of things that's been done in the back end, which actually takes like millions and millions of dollars as a capital expense before we get to this stage. Talking about the transformations, right? So earlier there were legacy data centers that were running in each and every country specifically. But now when we look at it, we are into a collaborative, a regional or a globalized data center, which has high speed performing compute systems. So in another way, we are moving into a different operating model from a legacy way. So the banks are not owning the data centers anymore. It's all moving into a managed services where fintech comes into a major part, where they provide the operating systems, they provide the platforms for us to run the banks. And we are moving into this stage, and most of the banks are already moved, like from a legacy data centers to managed services, colos and hosting services and etc. The backend infrastructure, what we were using on those days is not applicable anymore. We are moving into a low latency networks, high speed virtualizations, and so on. So this cuts across multiple layers of infrastructure, starting from networks, computes, open source databases. And we are already moving into a cloud-based computing systems, which also cutting down a lot of our efforts and building data centers within in-house or on-premise data centers, like content delivery management or all big data systems. And you talk about AI, you talk about analytics, and everything is moving over there. So we are transforming it, and all the banking systems on those days or like currently, we are moving into a fast-paced cloud management system. And our bank is no exceptions with that. we already started that migration moving into cloud. And to specifically talk about we wanted to move into a multi-clouding cloud environment. So which means moving from our on-prem data centers, we are moving into data centers that has uh, like a already built in, you basically have all your systems ready. You just need to make sure you have your applications built in, and then you move your data and start working on them. So this has a lot of challenges, right? So this has an upscale of like what we are doing, reducing your overheads, cost, and everything. But this also has its own challenges. Like some of the challenges what we are facing is like data security. When we move everything from in-house and now asking the customers to access it directly, and then also moving into cloud, and that comes with a pinch of salt, which is a data security, which is a big threat in the current environment. And so being a bank, like regulators play a major part in it, right? So anything that we move from your in-house technology to the cloud computing technologies, we certainly go through all the regulatory stuffs, which is one of the major hiccups, or that is the reason you see a lot of bankings or lot of the systems, like especially anything which you touch with the consumer bankings, where we have our accounts details, customer data, and everything. It's not getting easy to move, and we are moving from a centralized data center, centralized operating model to a decentralized, because no longer the regional operations are effectively working because of the various regulatory requirements that's in place from different countries. So these are some of the challenges which are facing. And along with this, we also face challenges of skill sets. Which is like there are a lot of new technologies that's coming in, and we have our legacy systems, people with the legacy skill sets, and now we are facing real challenges managing all this in cloud. So these are the downsides which we are facing right now. I think at one stage, all this will be overcome, and we will get ahead with cloud.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Just show me your right hand. Okay. Now show me your left hand. Bring both the hands together now and let's clap. Okay. What does clapping release? There's a hormone which is released once you clap, right? Does anyone know that? Yes, oxytocin is released. So why did I do this? We are discussing about financial technology, fintech. So your right hand is financial, your left hand is technology. Bring them together and you have got fintech. Okay, it releases oxytocin. People are happy when both of them come together. Okay, so fintech is good. Fintech is the best when it comes to people or the customer or the experience which a customer would want to have. I would tell you about my experience. I run 2 regulated entities, as Dr. Sadaf mentioned. One of them is my finance company, NBFC, which is called Dolphin Money Private Limited, where I lend on two-wheelers, new two-wheelers, as well as used two-wheelers. So if anyone has bought a two-wheeler, I might be one of the lenders who would have given that. Second company which I run is Dolphin Insurance Broking, wherein I do all types of insurances for all retail as well as corporate customers. Now, when it comes to lending, we turn around a two-wheeler loan in flat 30 minutes. Okay, so how does this happen? A customer walks into a showroom, chooses a two-wheeler which he wants to buy. The application comes to us. We turn it around in 30 minutes flat and tell whether the customer is good to go, whether we'll be able to lend that customer or not. How does this happen? So we've got an integration of technology into our financial systems. I am the NBFC who's giving the money. but there is technology which has got integrated into our front end, wherein the application comes in. What do? We first check the bureau score, the CIBIL score. How does it happen? We have an integration with all the CICs. Okay. So CICs have an API integration with us. We hit the bureau and the bureau tells us the score and we say, okay, good to go. Then we check about other details of the customer from the PAN and everything. And then we approve the loan in flat 30 minutes. Sometimes if the customer is too good, the loan turnaround is in 20 minutes. Yes, Sesh, we can do it in 30 minutes. Now, when it comes to insurance, the insurance policy turnaround for a two-wheeler or a private car can also be turned around in 30 minutes with us. If you were to put a request for renewal of your insurance policy, I can do it in 30 minutes. How does that work? Again, the technology comes into the play. The engine number, chassis number, and the vehicle number, everything is now integrated on a portal called Vahan, which is the RTO portal, Vahan. And all the data is fetched from Vahan and checked whether the data is genuine or not. If the data is really genuine, the policy can be issued in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, max 30 minutes. So this is what we do when we say technology comes into play. This is what I am experiencing, though I am a small player, but there are larger players who do the turnaround in lesser time also. Now we come to something called, so this is the lending part which I do, which I have a technology. The insurance also has a technology. I'm sure you would have heard something called Policy Bazaar. Yes, everyone would have heard it. Sometime you would have also gone and checked on various options you have for your health insurance, or let's say a motor insurance. The premium is coming a bit high. Why? Let's go and check which other options are there. And then you choose. How does this happen? This is all technology coming into the play. Okay. So now touching upon these two things, fintech is good, is good for the country. It's good for the economy. A lot of transactions have started taking place. People are able to transfer money. Sitting in Mumbai, someone can transfer money to his village in Maharashtra or in UP or anywhere. So that helps us in transferring money, wherein the fintech comes into play. There are people who want to take very small personal loans. So there's a company called Early Salary. Okay, they give a loan on, let's say, 30th of the month, and the customer pays back on the 5th of the month. So only the interest is charged charged for 5 days. So this is I'm sorry. So this is possible because of the fintech. There's a front end wherein all the integration takes place with the CICs and everything at the back end, and that's how the delivery happens. Now, fintech at India at 75 is the topic. Yes, we would want all the idea of the government or the bureaucracy is to have all the financial inclusion taking place. When we say financial inclusion, it is the last mile delivery of the financial requirements of the customer. It is the inclusion of the customer who would want to take an insurance policy. It is the inclusion of the customer who would want to have a bank account and then transact from that bank account. This is all inclusion, and there the technology helps you. That's about it. I guess this is what I do. This is my experience. I would hand it over to Dr. Sadaf. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, running two such demanding institutions, and that too with all the regulations, is not an easy task. Now I would request Mr. Chintan Oza to share his startup experiences, because we are one of the countries who are leading in terms of the startup ecosystems.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sadap. Glad to have, be part of this August forum. Thank you so much, host team and Vijay Lankar. Pleasure being here. Myself, Chintan, I work with various startups. I'm regional director for Founder Institute in India. We are world's largest pre-seed startup accelerator, having presence in more than 100 countries and 250 cities. So what we do is we bring in those experience and learning from those markets for your startup. So it's a world-class curriculum which is being continuously updated. The curriculum itself is a mature, and we run that curriculum for you. So having said that, why it is a right time to start a startup in India? Let me share a couple of pointers to you. Apart from being world's third largest startup ecosystem, we are world's fifth largest economy, who is having cheapest internet data across the world. We are outside European or American countries, we are largest English speaking population, which by beyond 2025 would be the youngest lot below 30 years of age. Earlier, barring first 3 or 4 rows, rest of the guys wouldn't have experienced the dot-com bubble. So one of the reasons why dot-com bubble burst was trust, because the transactions were not happening at lightning speed. We were not trusting the companies who are on the block. Right now, what is happening is we are freely transacting. Even 1 rupee 50 paisa also can be sent via UPI and it gets instantly delivered. So the trust factor has returned. The e-commerce is booming. Our data consumption is crossed 20 GB a month. What do we do when we consume 20 GB of data? So I would request students to analyze various reports which state that what do we consume when we consume 20 GB of data? And then you would realize that we are consuming content, we are consuming social media and likes of other services. Gone are the days when you walked into a movie theater, booked a paper ticket, and then walked into a movie hall. I'm sure, barring first 4 or 5 rows, none of the participant in this hall would have used a paper ticket to fly between any 2 locations. So this is the impact of digitization. Our India stack is something which is unique and so powerful that it can deliver unique experiences, be it UPI, be it Aadhaar. Our fintech and other startups are greatly benefiting with these ecosystems. Apart from this, year 2023 is the year of 5G. This is the year when almost all district headquarters and taluka headquarters will get coverage of 5G. What does this mean? You have uniform access of internet. High-speed internet access is available. You can have a capability to serve any Indian citizen. Earlier, language was a problem. Right now, thanks to Facebook, Instagrams, and WhatsApp of the world, the user experience has turned such that even a farmer can use a mobile phone. So this is how, when you build a startup which is regulatory compliant, which is having a unique offering, you get to create a user experience. I meet various entrepreneurs, and then I work with entrepreneurs right from New Zealand to Mexico and from Russia to South Africa. I work with around 80 plus cohorts across various accelerators, being mentor to various accelerators. I am on advisory board of multiple companies. The reason why I'm bringing this out is when we compare our infrastructure with certain other countries' infrastructure, we find that they are actually having that hollow growth. They don't see beyond certain countries. I mean, barring those major cities which you can count on fingertips, they don't have that growth where they are able to capture certain markets. So their addressable market is too small. While India being a vast country, one of the largest dense populated country, we have that business opportunity with us. Apart from this, our government is running various programs to promote startups. And that is how if you look at the entire picture, if you want to become an entrepreneur, this is the time to start your journey. Back to you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I think the message is right and clear to all the students, and not just to students. I think this is one message for all of us, that there is no age. Age cannot be a barrier when we need to start. I think so only ideas are something which should flow and which should accelerate us to the next level. Now we will have Mr. Krishna Kumar Kancharla's presentation on cryptocurrency and launch of the e-rupee. As you all are aware that cryptocurrencies being an unregulated mode of payment is not well accepted in India, because in India we know that RBI and the central government are very strict and they want to monitor where the money is flowing. But looking at the interest of the audience and also understanding that where cryptocurrencies will go from the launch of CBDCs and e-rupee, we have a short presentation by Mr. Krishna Kumar.
Thank you.
I think that is where we are seeing, a major fundamental issue. Okay. Now we are going to move into our second round of discussions, where I will request Ritesh sir to share his insights about innovations in the NBFC and the insurance segment.
So as I mentioned in my first session, the innovations in the NBFC or the financing space or the lending space is the essence of time, essence of speed. As Mr. Parthasarathy also mentioned in his speech, that speed is the essence nowadays. Everyone wants the transactions to happen at a speed of light, and it is happening. So in the lending space also, people want everything on their in their palm. So I'm a big fan of Dhiru Bhai, who had said "Kar lo duniya mutti mein," and it is happening. Everyone, as you also mentioned, that people are not using laptops in Africa, as you had mentioned, but everyone is using smartphone. People have become smart when they're using smartphone. Though the data consumption, as Mr. Chintan said, is more on the social media side, but apart from that, when it comes to the transaction, people want it at the instrument to work on their palm. If you want to buy a ticket, it is available in the phone. If you want to buy a movie ticket, as he said, yes, it is there. If you want to purchase a loan, if you want to purchase a, a brand new vehicle, everything is available. You just have to pay through the phone, and it is enabled through the payment gateways, and it is possible. So speed, yes, is the essence, first thing. Second thing, the ease of doing transactions. So be it in the insurance space, which I do, be it in the financing space, or be it any other space, the speed is of the essence, and the transactions should go through immediately. Like I was mentioning about Policy Bazaar, we are also building up a platform or a portal which will give you multiple options of insurance at a click. So you just have to download that app, go on that app and find the solutions for your insurance needs. Be it you want to have a health insurance, be it you want to have a vehicle insurance, or even a home insurance, for example. So you can have options of all the insurance you want to take. You can customize the details in that. So everything is available at a click of a button. When it comes to lending, yes, fill in your basic details of PAN, Aadhaar, and we'll run you through the CIBIL score and all those KYC details, and we can lend you money in flat 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes time. So these are the things which are happening good. But yes, as Dr. Sadaf mentioned, there are challenges to this. There's a lot of cost which comes to put this technology in place. There's a lot of time which goes in putting the technology in place. And the moment you put this technology in place and get it to a testing mode, as someone was mentioning about the software life cycle, you get into the BRD mode, then the software development happens, then you put it on testing, and then the actual implementation happens. This entire life cycle takes a lot of time. And the time you've decided to put some technology in place and the actual time when it gets placed, there's a lag and the technology changes also to a large extent. So you have to be upgraded, you have to be abreast with the latest things happening, latest demands happening, what the consumer wants, and that has to be implemented, not a legacy system which you thought should be working. Is something which is a challenge right now, which we also face in the practical environment. If we think that the particular loan or insurance should be delivered in an hour's time or a 30 minutes time, the consumer or the client sitting on the other side wants it in a jiffy. He says, why can't, if I can book a Ola in 1 minute, if I can order a Swiggy, food from Swiggy in 2 minutes flat, 5 minutes flat, why can't I have a loan in 5 minutes flat? Why can't I have an insurance policy in 5 minutes flat? So the expectations are rising there. So these are the challenges which we face in practical environment. We're working on it. Everyone is working. The entire ecosystem is working on this to get the expectations right. And we are also working on it, Dr. Sadaf. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will request Palani sir to share insights from his segment now.
Yep. So from the innovation from the infrastructure side, that's happening as we speak. So right now, as everyone mentioned, like everything is happening within few minutes or like couple of days nowadays. But unfortunately, on the infrastructure side, it's not happening because you need to build the infrastructure given all the supply chain issues that's happening right now. Even if you order a network gear or you want to build something, that takes approximately like 6 to 9 months of time. So every industry is going through this challenging times. And from a banking perspective, from the infrastructure side of the house, the innovation part is virtualization. So we are trying to reduce our footprints in our premises, like on-prem data centers. So we are moving to a shared data centers, or wherever possible, we are adopting cloud. So by doing all this, say for example, you want to deploy a new application tomorrow, and your idea is ready, but you want to build the infrastructure for that, that takes about 6 to 9 months, and you're going to lose out in your time to market of the delivery. So to overcome this, I think the only solution what we have right in front of us is to collaborate with a fintech company or move your solutions to cloud. So you go to cloud and you want to build a server, you want to build your database. So that's going to happen within like a couple of hours, and everything is ready, and your developers can start using it. So virtualization is the one which everybody is trying to do from the infrastructure side. And with all the regulatory challenges, yes, we are going through that, but we will get there in a way at one point in time. But with the support of the fintech and all the cloud technologies that's available, that's going to be possible very soon.
Chintan sir.
So we started banking with paper, and then started using websites, internet, and then came apps, then mobile banking, etc. In between there was SMS banking. So then from paper to desktop to mobile, now we are advancing towards our wearables. So wearables would be enabling, many youngsters would start using wearable devices. Apart from this, virtual assistant would enable banking to a greater extent. And such new devices are coming up in the banking ecosystem. And I'm fan of a book called Banking 4.0, Banking Everywhere, but not at a bank. The author is Brett King. You can look at the book on Amazon. Apart from this, there are a lot many new things which are happening, like settling of insurance claim in less than 5 minutes. With use of technology, they are analyzing each pixel, analyzing the dent, age of the dent, the color variation within the dent, analyzing whether it is a fresh dent for which a claim is being made, or it's an old dent for which claim is being made now, and the entire insurance claim is being processed in less than 5 minutes time. So these are the kind of new things which are on the horizon. While money is being dispersed, we are also getting new analytical insights. New apps are also coming our way, which is helping us to control our expenses. Lastly, it's just humans who are banking. Now is the time, come 2025, probably machines will also start banking, because M2M transactions would be on the rise come 2025. Right now, it may look funny, but your fridge may be ordering milk for you. If you have maintained 2 liters a day, your fridge would manage those inventories. So this is the way the bank, the crypto tokens, the transactions would happen. In future, you may not be spending crypto or physical currency or even digital currency, but maybe spending certain other tokens, crypto tokens, and that is how tokenomics would be on the rise. unlike we are trading securities, stocks of various enterprises, we might be getting those tokens listed and then we might be trading for certain digital assets. Right now, how many of you have got a crypto wallet? Can you raise your hand? How many of you have got a NFT? Just three. So from 2025, most of us will have NFT. Probably next year, we may have a NFT as a attendance certificate for this conference. And that is how the world is moving. Adoption is multiplying and we are gearing up to ride the wave of it. Thank you so much.
So taking keys from what Mr. Chintan shared with us, that tokens would be something that, we would be looking ahead. And in the recent addressal by RBI's Governor, Dr. Shaktikanta Das, he also announced that there will be a QR-based coin vending machine, which is now going to be launched in around 12 cities across India. So how this is going to work is like you have a bank account and you have QR code on your phone. You can just scan and say you want 10 rupee coins for maybe 100 rupees. 100 rupees gets debited from your bank account and you will get 10 coins. Okay, so you don't need to go to any bank or you don't need to go to any financial service provider. You can just get it directly through these machines. Okay, of course, RBI will keeping a cap on how much money is going to be in circulation. That is definitely going to be one of the things under RBI. But this is how things are going to be changed when it even comes to dispensing currency. Now, we will keep the forum open for any question and answers from the audience.
So good afternoon to all the panelists. My question is, since we are talking about fintech and other aspects of it, I just want to understand where do we see neo-banking going in the future?
I may not be the right expert on neo banking to answer your question, but yes, as we all discussed, the physical banking is obsolete. Why are the banks opening branches is something which people don't understand, because everything is on the mobile. The mobile banking is happening. People don't need to go to the bank unless you're a corporate and you need to deposit cash every day. So as far as your question is concerned, neo banking involves a lot of robo banking is what I understand. A lot of mobile banking, which I understand, and a lot of ease of doing transactions which people want. If you want to open a FD, it can be done in a jiffy. If you want to open a deposit, which is a recurring deposit, it can be done. If you want to download a statement, it can be done on the phone itself. So this is what comes to my mind. Any other expert in the room can also throw light on this, Chintan bhai.
So, I mean, at least up to 2025, what I could foresee is neobank would grow. The traditional banks will also grow and remain in the system. Neobank is just a new theme on your mobile phone. You are just getting a new user experience, but at the back of it, the entire core banking or a traditional banking infrastructure is needed, right? So that is how both of them would survive. Neobanks are thriving because they are giving better user experience to millennials. And the dinosaurs of fintech, as and when they try to reinvent themselves and the old blood gets out of the system, they would start reinventing themselves and rise like a phoenix. So 2025, again, the game would reset. And then probably the traditional banks, the mammoths, will again come back in action and in the mainstream.
Palani sir, would you like to share some insights from Singapore on neobanks?
I don't think we are moving ahead in that way. I mean, as far as my understanding is, there are a lot of innovation happening from the MAS side, which is another regulatory. But I mean, honestly, we are not into neobanks, and our JP Morgan is not on that path yet.
So we do not see any presence of Razorpay or Jupiter, these kind of organizations in Singapore.
No, it's still banks majorly occupies all the transactions. And I mean, recently after my visit to India, I mean, I came after the COVID after 3 years, I saw a tremendous growth in all the GPays and everything. But here, I would say about 70-80% of the transactions are still happening through banks, because banks adopt all this like we call it as pay nows and all those stuff. Using your mobile numbers, you can transfer money from one person to another one. But everything that happens that goes through the proper bank itself.
I agree with what Chintan said. That's exactly what happens in Singapore. We do have digital banks in Singapore. Looks like my voice is loud enough. It's all right. I can speak louder. Thank you. So Standard Chartered Bank, for example, has got a digital bank called Aspire, and we have something called Mox Bank. But we address targeted consumers, like you absolutely rightly pinned. It's targeted at the millennials who are, using mobile more than anything else, right? But the backend infrastructure is not provided by them. It's too expensive. You're still regulated at the end of the day. Digital bank is just a glitzy new UI, right? It's great. But I think where we are leading with the digital bank is it's not just about the payment services or the banking services. It comes to the associated, extra services that comes along with an app. For example, we have Grab. Grab is like Ola or Uber. It's a taxi company. It started as a taxi company, but if you look at Grab today, it's no longer just a taxi company. You can do everything with it. You can make payments. You can pay your friends. There's a wallet associated with Grab. You've got restaurants that you can order food from. It's everything, right? So I think that's where we are leading towards. But Chintan is right. They are tying up with traditional banks in order to provide the backend support. Thank you.
Am I audible? Yeah. My question is for Ritesh sir. One of the crucial hurdle for fintech growth in India is low financial literacy. For example, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which was launched to improve financial inclusion in the country. But as per World Bank reports, after opening total of 180 million accounts, close to 48% of those accounts remain dormant. There was no single transaction a year. So despite of all initiatives in place, is India really far from road to financial inclusions?
Well, my personal views, yes, India is a bit far, but not too far from financial inclusion. The government in its bit is taking a lot of steps for such activities to happen, be it on the banking side, be it on the insurance side, be it on the inclusion side. We are one of the fastest and the highest users of the UPI in the world. I personally feel it is taking time because of the sheer scale of the country, the sheer population scale. It's not easy to have 140 crore people included in the literacy financial inclusion. As you rightly said, there are various yojnas, Pradhan Mantri Yojana, Bima Suraksha Yojana, all those things. But it takes time to execute those schemes and plans and all the yojnas. So it takes at least 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years to execute all of this to reach the last mile or the last user to get included in that literacy. So these are my personal views. And yes, I guess government is doing a lot of it to get the financial inclusion part. Thank you. I guess a counter question would be, it would be interesting to see the age group of those dormant accounts. Right? People above 60 may not be earning, may not be using, and you cannot expect their kids to transact on their behalf. So as far as the gross numbers are concerned, it can be, you know, a counter question, argument, and then proving whether who is taking credit, who is not taking credit, etc. If you look at it as a businessman, then I would like to see at what age group falls in which category and how many accounts are there. Because yes, definitely they are citizens, but then they are not regular customers, right? So that is where they may be dormant account and they are part of the system. It was not discovered right now. When government started, it was known to them, right? So it's a cautious step government is taking. It cannot be seen as a credit or debit plain. But then again, when they want to approach the citizen for any subsidies like gas subsidy or Ujjwala Yojana or Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, all these people in any case, they would have got some reimbursement from government. If you are taking that reimbursement, that goes to your account only. So 48% is something which is still doubtful for me. And I do not, with all respects to champs at World Bank, they are good at world, not in India.
Next question.
Hello.
First of all, thank you for such an enlightening discourse. Genuinely, professors and students have learned a lot. My questions in the fintech space, if we see the most of the startups in the fintech space, related to behavior, I would like to ask questions related to behavior in the fintech space. Most of the startups which are starting are basically helping people to take easy loans, easy money, such as BNPL, Lazy Pay, or many things. So here, the startup, are we feeling that the startup space is encouraging people to increase liability than building the assets? Should we intervene and should we disrupt something or let the market take its own course? Do you think, are we become financially more prudent, or is it hampering, is it increasing a debt overhang in the general personal finances?
Seems to be on some planetary positions and all, but you know, today with every question I get a new mic. So any which way, so entrepreneurs are responsible to generate profit. What you asked are two things mixed: well-being of the customer, financial literacy, and responsibility, and all. That is probably let some other social organization take care of those things. As far as entrepreneurs who are responsible to generate profit will try to sell and make a profit, right? Unlike any other one, right? If you buy a car, they will not say, oh, actually the planet pe problem aa raha hai, carbon बढ़ रहा है, and you know what sin you are doing, you do not know. They will just sell it off and then move on. But there are some other people whose job is to say carbon, steel kitna use ho raha hai, planet ko kitna nuksan pahunch raha hai and all. So there are two different segments. You cannot match and mix with each other. If you think you are an entrepreneur, you are responsible for profit. If you are not responsible for profit, you are non-profit or you are government. Clear? Thank you.
Also in India, adding to that question, that are we increasing liabilities? This is a question I think which we all witness, that is there going to be a creation of a credit bubble? But if you see, disparity of incomes in India is much larger than any other country. Okay, even though being on number 5 position, we see that the purchasing power of people like living in a city like Mumbai, we know what our salaries are. And when we step out of our house to buy another house or buy another car, I don't think any of us can do it without getting some kind of credit or some kind of loan. So looking at the disparity of income, I think in a country like India, we do need that credit support, because if that will not happen, I think we will have very saddening news, which will just go on the media that ye car company band ho gayi hai, this other organization is shutting down because they don't have any sales. The real estate has been witnessing a setback for so many years. So if we do not have this credit, I'm sure like with the kind of disparity of income that people have, I doubt that, anyone will even think of buying a house or a mobile phone or even sneakers. Next question.
Respected panel, I had a question. Tamil Nadu is being tipped as the #1 in fintech, the fintech capital, whereas traditionally Maharashtra has always been the financial capital. So where is the gap in terms of the fintech capital and the financial capital?
So Fin is in Mumbai and tech is in Tamil Nadu.
So that's safe. But then at the same time, there are layoffs also at the same time that are happening in the
हाँ
industry.
तो प्रॉफिट किधर है जहाँ पे ले ऑफ नहीं है, जहाँ पे टेक है वहाँ पे प्रॉफिट नहीं है तो ले ऑफ रहेगा ही ना.
So going with the same logic, if you have a gift city in Gandhinagar, can't that become the fintech capital along with Maharashtra? Why is it that it's going down south?
Gift city is going.
No, I'm saying, why is the fintech going down south more? Because the chief
No,
minister.
so gift city, I'll tell you. So I can authoritatively comment on gift city because I won the ICT contract for Tata Group for 15 years for gift city. I was heading the consortia. Okay. So gift city, the purpose of setting up gift city is different. Okay. It's not related to building a tech Silicon Valley or promoting startups or something. It is purely an independent area wherein the back office of multiple banks, it has got own international exchanges, which is facilitating global transactions. So it itself with the gift city and fintech and Mumbai or Chennai or Tamil Nadu cannot be compared. It's not an apple to apple comparison. We wanted to have some kind of IFS, International Finance Center, which would facilitate those international finances. We will have our own exchanges. There are a couple of good things which are happening, like many MNCs are having a presence in GIFT. They are getting their own exchange wherein we have imported gold, almost tons of gold have been imported. So we wanted to set up those entities which would trade into these specific segments. And that's an island which has been developed by government. Unlike we have SEEPs, right? It's an island which has got lesser taxation or more benefits. That is where GIFT is there.
So my same question, I'm just adding it to it because they said Mumbai is the #3 in Asia in terms of this. So where is the lag being between Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra? Why is it that Tamil Nadu, the chief minister is promoting fintech in a major way compared to other states?
फिर से वही आंसर आ गया. फिन इधर है, रोकड़ा उधर, टेक उधर है. We are like, I mean, majority businesses, think of all top 100 business houses. You would find that 60+% of business houses diversified are based out of Mumbai, be it Reliance, be it Aditya Birla, be it even Godrej. They are headquartered, and then that is how we are thriving, right?
Yeah.
So that difference would create. The other state, Tamil Nadu or any other state, which would have their own back offices, etc., they may not be generating businesses, right?
Yeah.
There is a profit center. The profit center is in Mumbai, where the business gets conducted. And then that is where that difference would continue.
And in terms of training, also, are they ahead in Tamil Nadu compared to places like Maharashtra?
Training is good because this is where the manpower and then
So
they are
if-
thriving.
Yeah, so the same thing can be emulated in a place like Maharashtra. right?
Yeah, it can be. Yes, yes,
So-
certainly. Provided students are willing to learn.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
That will be the last question.
At the end. Okay. We'll take this question now.
So my question is related to the cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency is unregulated in India, and same time the government is imposing the taxes cryptocurrency. How it is related?
Unregulated in India. Crypto wala koi hai?
Okay, so with respect to this, I think I already shared as a concluding line to Krishna Kumar's sir's presentation that if you see cryptocurrency is to be used as a mode of payment, I think all the students can, I think they know about Satoshi Nakamoto, okay, the person who invented Bitcoin. Read his white paper. It is to be used inherently as a mode of payment. But in India and across the world, because of the volatility, because of volatile nature, people started looking at it as a mode of investment and quick money. That is where the fundamentals went wrong. I think our panelists will also agree on this. And looking at the survey also, like, internationally, you see people are only looking at these cryptocurrencies in terms of their investments. I think Partha sir also would agree with this, that in India, they are just trying to put a block there to understand how much money is flowing into it. But then our government does not want anything unregulated, unlike Singapore, unlike the MAS in Singapore, where, sir already had mentioned in the previous session. Sir, any insights on that?
Understood.
The Reserve Bank governor correctly, he says that in various, he doesn't use the word illegal, but if you decipher what he is trying to say, he kind of alludes to that. However, it's not banned, which means you are allowed to buy, trade, and therefore the taxation naturally applies. And I did a quick maths on whether it is even profitable doing any transactions in India on crypto. It doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. Buying, selling, everything is taxed. So, I mean, see, you should look at crypto as an emerging technology. It has to be regulated, and I'm very sure even in India, it will be regulated in future. I think Indian government is looking at protecting people from the unnecessary speculation that is happening, because everybody talks about crypto and they put their hard-earned money, and naturally the government wants to protect its citizen. So therefore, they are taking its stance. But eventually, it will lead to a stage where the technology will evolve into payments and decentralized finance and lot more other avenues, and then it will get regulated. My non-financial advisors, be careful, know what you're doing, read the white paper, and then invest if you choose to. Thank you.
Okay, I'll draw a parallel to insurance industry. We take insurance in case if we have a claim, the claim will be settled by the insurance company. Now there is some product called cyber insurance, okay, with cyber security insurance, wherein let's say your organization takes a cyber security insurance or a bank takes a cyber security insurance. What happens? There are ransomware or there are malwares which can attack the system and block that system. Okay. Then when a hacker sitting somewhere in the world hacks that banking system or a company's system, what he does is he does not allow that company to function or to work in a regular fashion. Okay. So, and these hackers have now started demanding the ransom in crypto. Okay. Earlier, they were demanding the ransom in Indian rupee or dollars. Now they've started demanding the ransom in crypto, and taking it forward to the fact that insurance companies can now settle the claim in crypto also. So it's not illegal in India, but it is not legally told that it is legal. Okay. So the ransom money, let's say 5 crore rupees, 10 crore rupees, or whatever, 50 crore rupees of money which the hacker demands can be settled in crypto through the insurance claim. So that is possible in India.
I hope this, yes. I'm feeling lucky today now. So great. So who wants to be an entrepreneur? Can you raise your hand if you want to be an entrepreneur? Super. Thank you so much.
Palanisa, any concluding insights?
Yeah, I think the fintech industry is growing great. It's across. I think there was a question about why Tamil Nadu is growing and stuff like that. But I mean, probably that's a personal opinion. But when we are working from here, there are a lot of startups, and they have their backend offices or they're supporting fintechs across multiple cities in India. And as he rightly mentioned, the GIFT City is one of the major international exchanges, and especially with JP Morgan, we have a lot of connectivities between SGX and GIFT City. Lot of transactions are happening, and in a way, like India is booming a lot from a fintech and financials, banking industries as well, and they are not left behind. A lot of technologies are already available, and they are like equal competent in with the developing countries. So, and at times I see like there are transactions, the volumes we see, and the technologies they use in India nowadays is like far behind. I mean, far ahead of the other developed countries. Like you want to bring a change in Western countries like Europe, it takes a longer time. In Japan, it takes a very longer time. But I think compared to that, like Asia is leading the game, and India is definitely playing a major part in this contribution. Yeah, I think the world is going towards it, and we're not going to see any more branches opening up, and very few branches across, and technology is transforming. Yeah, I think it's all good for us, and all the best to everyone.
Sir, so just concluding this panel discussion, India at 75, I think we are very, very fortunate because we have technology plus regulation. If you would speak to our older generations, obviously at that time, the technology, the revolution that we are witnessing today, they didn't have the opportunity. Palani sir rightly mentioned about one key takeaway for all of us is to regularly upgrade ourselves and to have the required skill sets. Another important thing is that we are looking at convenience, as it was rightly mentioned by Ritesh sir in his entire, sharing of his experience, that everything is happening at lightning speed. But somewhere security is also a concern. And thereby regulators are doing their job. They are acting very vigilantly, be it in any segment of the BFSI industry, say it insurance, you say whether it's mutual funds, whether it's banking, our regulators are being very vigilant, and they're even cracking the whips on the companies who are providing these services. In fact, if you have the time, you can just visit rbi.org, and on the portal itself, you will see that RBI announces that, they have penalized banks for not maintaining or not following the data compliances, and the penalties are huge, like going in 20 to 30, 40 crores of rupees. So RBI is really being very, very vigilant here, not just RBI, all of the regulators. So we are very fortunate in that sense. Plus, another thing is that now we have to be very, very, I think, prone to use our hands, because as Ritesh sir mentioned at the start, he just did a small activity of clapping. But you look at what Amazon is doing in the rest of the world is now they are empowering their palms to make the payments. Okay, so from the wristbands, from the mobile applications to the wristbands. And now we are just going to have our palms being scanned, our face being scanned, with security for debit cards and credit cards becoming an issue. So now we are having our retina scans, and now we are having our face scans, biometrics. This is what we will be experiencing. All these things are going to come up in this year. HDFC is working very keenly on using biometric scan for making the payment. That will be very safe, and also without internet at times we can make the payment. And going ahead, I think one particular insight I would share from RBI. They took up a summit last year in 22, and they said that climate risk is a new financial risk. So the way we are looking at technology, the way we're looking at progress, there is climate risk also, which is going to haunt the technology progression. And climate risk inevitably will also be a financial risk. I think no one can deny that if there is any kind of climatic change or any natural calamity, financial losses cannot be even put down, or they cannot be jotted in numbers. So though we are progressing, we're looking at 5G and we're looking at all the technology progression, but somewhere even we have to take care that this technology will bring in a lot of climatic change, and that could cause financial risk in the future. Thank you. Yeah.
And apart from devices, if you consider metaverse as the next virtual world, then I take pride in informing you that our PSU bank has got a presence in metaverse, right? So this is how Indians and technology around us is moving. So a PSU bank is having a presence in metaverse. Why would they have a presence? Because there are customers. Thank you.
I thank all the panelists, including Palani sir, Ritesh sir, Chintan sir, and Krishna Kumar sir for sharing their valuable insights. Thank you, audience, for listening patiently, and I hope that you really enjoyed the session. Thank you, Vidya Lankar Institute, for organizing such a wonderful discourse. Thank you.